Welcome back, brothers and sisters, twin flames, and I appreciate your patience and thanks for waiting for the new video to come out. I honestly had the material and had messages come down, but I was at the same time prompted not to go ahead with those messages as the timing was not right. On the same note, there was this need to to teach all of us to stand on our own and to be grounded in our own power, which was part of the energies in the past few weeks. I could say the whole past month of September was regarding our own getting our own power back and our self-worth reinstated for maybe first time in our life, to reinstate our self-worth in the real manner of what that actually means, because there's difference between self-esteem, and some of us lack that too, and that's a little bit more of a 3D issue to work on your self-esteem, but your self-worth is even deeper issue that needs to be addressed, and it was something we were healing this September, and into beginning of this October it's kind of wrapping up right now. So part of that uh, process and growing process and growing pains, I could say, is to be alone in your own strength. And so I wasn't supposed to send out any videos, because we were all supposed to be very, very strong, because when we do send out the videos, they are very important, and we do have to share information, and these informations are supporting our process and our journeys. But there's times when okay, for example, we all more or less depend on electricity. I personally find electricity very helpful in my life, and I don't know how hard it would be to live without it. Um, I respect Amish people a lot, and I find them amazing. And as I said, I respect them, but I don't know if I could pull that off, like being an Amish. As a child, I was in the war. I mentioned that before, and it was extremely hard, because when you live in a civilized society with modern technology and electricity and everything, and then you're used to it, and then suddenly that is all taken away from you, it's very shocking experience for everyone, for the family. It's hard. We were many months during the war, we were completely disoriented. We didn't know what to do, because there was no electricity, there was no water. Sometimes we would have water, sometimes we would have to put it in the barrels to keep it for later, and we didn't have warm water or hot water, and we lacked a lot of things because it was war, and the borders were closed, and it was just very bad. But I learned to appreciate what I have, to also save what I have, because I learned how to like reduce the usage sometimes. Also, I learned how to enjoy it sometimes, just indulge in what you have and be grateful for it. And also I I've learned that you can live without it if you have to. But also, sometimes, even though I said during the war that I will never ever want any candles to ever see candle again, even though we were lucky, even if we had a candle, we had to make like homemade candles from old oil and stuff. And so, anyways, I used to say that I will never wish to have like romantic candles on the table. For me, romantic was supposed to be all the lights on. But then, as I'm starting slowly to forget the war and the traumatic experience, Nowadays, sometimes when the electricity goes off during the storm or something, I actually enjoy those moments of silence and peace. And when all the electrical equipment and everything in your house and fridge and everything becomes silent, then I indulge in that silence. I enjoy it, and I don't worry when it's gonna come back. I don't call electrical company. I know everybody in my neighborhood will do it anyways. So I just that short opportunity to enjoy in peace situation, to enjoy peace and quiet. And then when it comes back on, I enjoy it when it's back on because it's helpful and we need it. So that's how I want to compare. Maybe it's a bad comparison, but that's how I want to compare having emotional support in your life, having spiritual support in your life. I believe that it's great to have, if you're religious, to have your religious community so that you have some kind of network and people who support you and sponsor you. If you are in any kind of spiritual path, that you have like-minded people who understand you, who you can share with, who can give you advice, or you can give them advice, and it's beautiful and it's great. And also, especially on twin flame journey, we need that constant support. But there is a time in our life when we need to realize that everybody could be gone from our life, even our parents or our siblings or our friends or our group of people that understand us, that we share our spiritual or religious experience with. And then we are alone with our creator, we are alone with ourselves, and we are alone with our higher aspect of existence. And then we have to learn that loneliness it's not forever, but when it's temporary, when it's there, we have to enjoy it and use it to strengthen ourselves in that aspect, that we don't have to rely on anyone. But when we do have support, that we are grateful for it and that we enjoy it, and then we use it for the most of the benefit for everyone, us and the others, and share, and it's great. But sometimes no one is around, and sometimes we have to stick with our own self and get to know ourselves and enjoy our own company, and just be go within and find that inner strength, like that inner strength. And then I'm going to come now to the topic of self-worth, which is part of that. First, you have to learn to be by yourself, and that in that not only in physical, but in 4D and 5D, to be one with the source and forget everyone else for a moment, and then go back to be with everyone else, to be one with everyone. So all is one and one is all. That's one part. The second part is to learn the self-worth. And I think I'm not the only one who was tested for the past few weeks or a month, or a whole month. There was some tests and some indications that there are few more things that we have to, should I say, work on? Yes, work on. Tune up that self-worth aspect of our being, which is maybe it's related to self-esteem, but also it's a separate issue. And I will give you now practical example of what was happening to me, so you can compare the notes and figure out your own story here. What was happening to you? How did you deal with it? And you can definitely put it in comments. I welcome it more than you can imagine. So what happened to me was actually 3 weekends ago, and funny thing is that tonight, before I edited this video, I watched a movie called Monster-in-Law, with Jane Fonda playing mother-in-law, and Jennifer Lopez playing daughter-in-law to be, and it was very similar to that feeling that I had three weekends ago, that was produced by my twin flame's mother, because what what she has done, because in the movie, like Jennifer Lopez character gets to be belittled by her future mother-in-law when she introduces her to her famous guests at the party, and she says, um, she's a temp. And she keeps repeating to people that she's a temp, which is just inappropriate way to say that she's not good enough for her son, who is a doctor, and other things that she does to her throughout the movie is to make her feel worthless and to make her feel not good enough for her son, although they're like very much what you can see in the movie, at least it depicted as twin flames. The way they met, how they met in such big places, LA, they saw each other 3 times in one day. First day they met, it was just a lot of synchronicities going on and all that. So anyways, back to my event. 3 weekends ago, I attended a seminar, and honestly, I was hoping my twin flame would be there, but then at the same time, I knew that probably he wouldn't be. Not only that he stopped coming to social events, but I feel, and I could be wrong, but so far my feeling has not failed me before, is that his mother has something to do with that. That she, if she attends the event, then he doesn't. And it doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't allow him, but that he finds excuse not to go, because he knows if I show up uh, and she's there, it will be very awkward for me, and he will not be able to talk to me. And if he did, maybe she will object to that later on and give him trouble. And I don't think he can stand. I believe it. As twin flame, I feel him a lot, and I feel that he cannot stand anyone talk trash about me or talk negative things, or because basically there's nothing negative to say about me, but just like this character in the movie that Jane Fonda plays, she's just not happy with the idea of her son being in love. Nothing personal for me to be offended by. It's just something that she has issue with, okay, of letting go. And anyways, she what she did was, she ignored me. Of all the people there at the seminar, we all know each other, and uh, we've said our greetings to each other many times before. And what is really interesting for you to know is that in my community, in my religious community, I am very well respected and loved by everyone. And like, I mean, almost everyone. Of course, nobody's loved by everyone, but I am kind of a person that I get surprised to hear from other people how much they like me and talk about me and say good stuff behind my back, which is great. And I never attributed that to myself or something that I have done. But I always say that's something, as I feel, as a blessing from the source, from God, from creator of the universe. And there is a small verse in the Quran where God says, if you had, basically, how we can interpret that verse is that God is basically saying, if you had all the money in the world, you couldn't buy people's hearts. You can buy friendship, true friendship, and honest respect from other people. But once God loves you and his angels love you, then he puts love in the hearts of people, and then people love you, and that's something priceless, basically. So I feel humbled by that, verse, and every time I am showered with that love by my community members, I turn to God, to Allah, and I feel gratitude for having such good position and respectable, position in my community. So that makes it harder, more harder, because if everybody likes me, and when I show up, people would say to me in the past, and they still say that, thank God, that when I show up, I bright up the room, and I make people feel good. And I do feel like always people have confided in me. They would come and tell me their biggest secrets, and I feel that it's an honor, because maybe people know that I will not step on their hearts, and I will not go around and tell other people about it, and I can understand them without judgment and give them maybe a good advice. And people have thanked me many times, and I feel the only thing I can describe that as is it's one of my life's uh, purposes, to be a light worker, to spread the light and help other people when they need it, and be there for other people when they need it. And I'm a very honest person also, so they know that there's no hidden meanings with me, nothing they should be afraid of. So basically, like my late uncle said once to a person that I was visiting him with, he said she was always easy. She was a person ever since she was a child. She was someone. It was not hard to like her. It was always so easy to like her. So I'm grateful for that. And so when I showed up, she started ignoring me, like she wouldn't see me. I tried to say hello to her, and she just turned her back on me. And this is for no reason whatsoever. We never had any kind of dispute or fight or anything of that kind that would make her act like that. So she gives herself away basically by acting like that. This is not the first time. She shows me mixed feelings many times. She would be sometimes nice, and sometimes approach even first and greet me if I haven't seen her first. But more times she ignored me than she was nice. And I attributed this to perhaps some kind of a social awkwardness on her part, like maybe because my twin flame has Asperger's syndrome, which is a little bit of social. He's an introvert, and so he can be very approaching, and he can be very even assertive sometimes. But when it comes to business deals and business related things in life, but personally he's very introverted, and he has a brother who who is on a higher spectrum of autism. And so I always thought maybe she has a little bit of Asperger's syndrome herself. Maybe she's too shy or socially awkward. And that still may be a case, because maybe just like her son, over the years, she had learned from interacting with me that, because people with Asperger's syndrome, they can learn how to be more approachable, how to be more extroverted in the right way, and understand social norms, and how to act in public gatherings and stuff like that, and how to greet people first, or what right thing to say. And because I am kind of like that with people, I'm I'm an extrovert, then maybe I know he learned from me over some period of time, just by observing me, because they're very intelligent people and very observing, and kind of soaking in that, especially from people they are fascinated with, or they love, or they feel they think highly of. So I know he learned a lot of skills from me just by observing me. And I will post a link below of the song that you will see that describes that kind of twin flame relationship, when we complement each other, two people. The one is introvert and one is extrovert. So maybe she learned over the years, not just from me, not from me necessarily, but maybe she wanted to be more like me from interacting with me. And so maybe she learned how to be more friendly with other people. Because what I learned that night, what I've seen that night, that evening at the seminar, is that she was very flirty and talking to other people like I've never seen her before, but she was only ignoring me. And she was even talking to other men, which in our religion is a little bit more, we mingle much less, although this was a mixed event and all that, but we do mingle much less. No matter how liberal we are, we do mingle less than I'd say people, let's say, on some maybe a party or art gallery thing or something like that. We do mingle much less. So it was kind of weird to see her interact with these guest speakers and famous scholars that were present at this seminar, because she just went and talked to everyone and said hello to everyone and took photos with everyone. And it just broke my heart to feel that, because she's my twin's mother and I want to be friends with her. And I know that I mentioned in previous videos that she was one of the walls between us, and not even apparently just like telling me in my face, you're not good enough, but just by acting like that. And so this is the top of the iceberg, or should I say tip of the iceberg, I'm sorry. And I came home so devastated, so triggered, so much in pain from, like, I felt like she was ripping my heart off for ignoring me so much. And as I said, it wouldn't be so hard if other people didn't like me and if other people didn't wanted to say hello, and then she acts like that. It was very obvious. And especially my mother didn't go with me that day. Like, it was the second day of seminar on Saturday, and so I was there without kind of like my own sidekick. So I felt so alone at that moment. And I came and as I drove out of that venue where the seminar was being held, and I drove in the street, I actually noticed my twin flame's car across the street parked, and then he followed me for about 2 or 3 lights and turned right towards the direction of their house. And I continued down the road, and I told my mom when I came home, that was so strange. He wasn't at the event, but he was waiting on the exit road from the venue. And then, because I a car, and so some regular people would think that's a stalking, that's kind of like stalking. But no, in twin flame dynamics, it's just sometimes we show up to see if the other person is okay. We feel each other, and if he didn't want to come to the event, maybe he just wanted to see me, and maybe he wanted to check if I was going to leave alone, or maybe leave with some perhaps maybe I'm in a relationship by now or something. So he was following me just for a few stoplights, and then he turned away. And I felt actually supported by that act, that he was there. It wasn't his fault. I know that. And so anyways, I came home. I was feeling so crushed and so much worthless at that moment. Although I know I'm not worthless, but she made me feel like that. And it's just, we are humans. We can't help ourselves sometimes feeling like that. So we're all weak sometimes. And so this is the turning point that I want to show you right now, is that immediately next morning I received a very strange phone call from the host of this seminar in our state. And she said that she received a message, and it was recorded message, that she was asked to forward to me, and it was by the founder of this school and organization that has brought scholars and professors from Harvard and Yale to our city. They're theology professors, and who conducted this seminar. And so he he called her, the organizer in our state, and left her a message specifically for me and asked me to be a part of his documentary, of his upcoming documentary. And I had no idea who he was, because that night during that seminar, we just met in the hallway and spoke for about like 2 minutes tops. And he already took a notice of me for some reason and took a like on me, or something. He liked something about my personality and something I told him about the topic of the seminar. And we just talked briefly, really. And I guess, again, like I said, I thank the source of my life and universe, the creator, for sending people like that my way to respect me and to find value in me, to even go that far to ask me to be part of his next documentary. And she asked me and I accepted, and I will post in the end of this video the recording of that message, not only to prove to anyone that I'm not making this up, but you can hear this is going to make a strong point. You can hear from his voice, from the sound of his voice, how much respect is like in the depth of that message, and how much it meant to me, because it feels like he was an angel sent to lift me up from my low spirits that she caused the night before, and to make me feel worth, and to know, because I told my mom when I came home, I said, I know she's doing this just to put me down and to make me feel worthless, but she knows, just like I know, that I'm her son's twin flame, and there's nothing she can do about it. It's it's stronger than any of us. It's the bond that nobody can break, and that I know if she wasn't the mother of my twin flame, she would be my friend, and she would not act like that. I'm sure of that. That's what I said to my mom. And then so next day, this strange request for me to be in documentary came in, and I didn't feel just grateful to love ourselves and realize that self-worth, no matter what others say or how they act towards us. It's their behavior, it's not ours. Even if it's your twin flame, if it's their karmic partner, other family members, their parents, your parents, don't pay too much attention to that, because God is watching over this twin flame connection and the reunion in the future. Because even though if you're not in reunion right now, you are on taking steps towards, and this is one of these steps, this deep to the core self-worth reassessment. All right, so I kind of had another test as I drove to the place where the documentary filming was set up to take place. My car broke down in the middle of the road. It was such a shock. And two men showed up out of nowhere, a beautiful young blonde tall man, and another dark kind of Latino looking, and they showed, I don't know where they showed up from. My car just broke down in the middle of the intersection, and I was like 2 minutes away from the spot where I was supposed to be filmed for the interview. And I know that, in my opinion, I believe they were also angels. They were there to help me immediately. They pushed my car, so they were so full of strength. I couldn't believe that with my own eyes, and they pushed me to the side of the road and made sure I was okay. And then I told them I was gonna call my friends and my parents to come get me. And then my friend, who is the organizer of this event, who received that message, she came over to pick me up with her son, and she offered to have my car towed away by the mechanic who lives in the area. And that mechanic is a friend of my twin flames parents. He happens to be their friend. And our first interaction was years ago when they were trying to find out and dig something about me. It was that same guy. Over the time, we became friends, and um, they kind of stopped being friends with my twin flames parents for some reason. I don't know what, but they started respecting me and liking me because their first role was to spy on me, to find out who I was, where I was from, is there something they can find out about me, maybe about my past, or and so I didn't take that, you know as something bad. I just accepted them as human beings, and they wanted to do a favor to their friends. It was a little bit sneaky, but I want to show them my real self. And they started to, him and his wife, they started to like me. They even told me one time, they said, don't wait for stupid people because they're just stupid. And I said, you know what, don't say that. And don't say they're stupid, because if I care for the person, I don't want to call his parents stupid people. I think that's disrespectful. Maybe they just misunderstood some things, or maybe they're right. Maybe they know what's best for their son, but I also never wished upon uh, meeting their son. It was bad news for me in the beginning, but then when I realized he was my other half, I started accepting that fact, and also he did. So there's nothing we can do about it. We are twin flames, and so we are meant for each other, no matter what it looks like to other people. Maybe they want something better for their son. Maybe they think he deserves better. I don't know. So I never wanted to call them stupid. And anyways, they're not like super good friends to me, but we know each other. They're nice to me. They like me. I'm okay with them. And so when he towed away my car, I knew he still talks to my twin flame, so he was gonna tell him that my car broke down probably. And I felt a little bit, again, it was another test and another trigger. I felt a little bit embarrassed right there, and he came back to me and he said my car was a total something was wrong with the engine, and he just recommends that I just buy a completely brand new car. And my financial situation right now is not, it could be better, let me just say that. And so it just put me down again when he said that. And I knew that the scandal was going to break out in their community, because they're a little bit sensitive about when it comes to money. And they don't really understand, and sometimes people struggle economically. And so I know that although I have everything that I need, and my life is great, and I have everything, but I'm just a normal person that when her car breaks down, she may need a couple of months to save up enough money to buy a brand new car. So it's not that easy. And so but in their standards, in their financial standing, it's like a normal thing. And I'm not exaggerating this. This is a funny fact that happened just moments later. When we were talking, he came over to that place where we were filming, and we sat outside waiting for the cameraman or whatever to finish interview with someone else. And he was telling me about my car. It was like everybody was shocked, like, your car broke down on your way here? I'm like, yes. And I was shocked myself. And there was another a man, he's a doctor. He came over to be interviewed as well, and he heard me talking about my car, and the mechanic guy saying that I need to buy a new car. And he completely and absolutely seriously said that, and I quote him, he said, oh, I'm also thinking of buying a new jet. I may want to buy a jet. And I thought he was joking in the first, but then I realized how rich he is and who he really is. He's a very rich man, and he's part of their community from this part of the world that they came here. And so when he said that, and then he turned to the mechanic and he tried to explain to him that now it's much easier to get the license to buy the plane or whatever. I don't know. I was so much worried about my car, I didn't care what he was saying. But I'm trying to explain to you how rich these people are. And so for them, when you say I can't buy a car right now, you know, tell me how much would it be to fix my car, the one that broke down. I felt I felt again that problem with self-worth, and do I really fit in with these people, you know, and the amounts of money that they have. And I was much happier on one level when my twin flame was not into money, and when he didn't have any than now. But at the same time, I'm proud of him that he does have what he has, like that he made it for himself, even though I'm not maybe agreeing with the means, the way he earned his money. Maybe it's not anything really illegal, but it's something that I don't ethically approve of. And so I'm not proud of that part, but I am proud of him trying. And you know, and it's okay if it's good for him, but it's not something that I need from him. So I was feeling like I'm not adequate enough to be, you know, financially part of that maybe family or something. And then what turned out to be what's going on, like, then the mechanic didn't call me for days. I didn't know where my car was, and I felt so disrespected by him. And it what it turned out to be, this is, and I'm gonna wrap up right here, guys. So this is the really most important message here. What it turned out to be, a couple of days later, I found out when I asked him. My father wanted to bring my car home and fix it by a different mechanic, and it turned out to be nothing, just a belt. And he called me. I asked him to send me his address, and he was avoiding that. And I thought it had something to do with me. Like, he was avoiding me, and I couldn't. And my mom was like, "Is he gonna give you a car back?" Like, I know he will, but I don't know, for some reason he's like avoiding to give me the address and the name of his mechanic shop. And when he finally did, because I told him the other mechanic is gonna come and tow the car away, he sent me his business card, and turned out he's not even mechanic. He's just a guy who changes oil in these cars that these young boys race with, like race cars and stuff. So he doesn't really know anything about my car. I have a Chevy, so like, he's not really expert. He didn't really know what was wrong with my car. So easiest way to say was buy a new car, and kind of a little bit mock at me at that moment. Because the point is, when people want to hide their own incompetence, or their own issues with their own worth, then they will try to belittle you. Okay, so I realized that that may be the key for you to understand that when when someone is hiding something, or it's as acting obscure, or trying to avoid you for some reason, and you feel avoided, and you feel belittled, then maybe they're hiding something about their, reality, so from you. So this guy turned out to be just a petty oil serviceman for these fast track cars that these boys and girls drive in that community. And so he also feels probably incompetent financially. He's not a doctor. Most of them are doctors, or they have some kind of degree, and they are from rich families. They have huge homes and, swimming pools and whatever. So maybe he felt, because for years that I know him, he kept saying he's a mechanic, he knows. And I always told him, maybe if I need something, I'll bring my car to you. But, he never insisted. So this was a meant to be event, so that I discover also, like, that other people are hiding things, and that they're just like trying he was trying to mock me for not being able to buy a new car immediately. And then I realized that what he drives is a van, and comes to our place of worship with his wife and in the van. And maybe he's like one of those people in that community that also doesn't feel that he's a good fit. So, it's just, and I don't think little of him by all means. I'm just saying that he was like pretending to show himself as some big shot mechanic, and he doesn't even have certified mechanic shop, so he doesn't really know that much. So he couldn't fix my car even if he wanted to. So he covered that up by saying that is complete loss and my engine is completely destroyed and I should buy a new car. So we don't have to always jump to conclusions about ourselves or about others, because there is source who sees everything, Allah all-knowing, and he knows that people have flaws, that they are not perfect, that we are not perfect, but we have to learn to love ourselves regardless. And this month was that uh, triggering part of the events when you were triggered and tested, and then you would have to come to conclusion that you are worth much more than you think, and that there's always someone who respects you and loves you and would do anything to be your friend or be part, or let you be part of their life or be part of your life. And so after that, a lot of things got better, and I feel so much better about everything, because it was great learning is. And I also received certificate for the seminar, which is great, which is a great honor to have. Like I said, my professors there were from Yale and Harvard, and it was awesome. It was really awesome, and I don't know what to tell you. There's messages I want to share for the next video, and because they're not something urgent right now, they're more general, but I think this is more important to share right now. If you are going through something like that, if you're being triggered or have been triggered last month, now you know you're not alone and it's happening. And I'm not posting, I don't know what this is, Cleopatra or something. It's a good message here. You can see it says it's important to be able to lead and listen to yourself. If you will not listen and lead yourself, you look to others to do a job you are intended to fill. So I think this is the point I'm making. I'm gonna leave, not to brag. Please don't think that I'm bragging about this guy that left me a message, but you must understand how I felt after being so low when I received this message next day. And so that was a sign for me from the universe, that universe is watching over me and universe knows my worth, you know, and that should be enough for me. I shouldn't be ungrateful for that. So you shouldn't be ungrateful for universe. I love you. I feel sometimes that I'm not up to making a video, but I know that you guys deserve it, and when it's the right timing and when you're supposed to hear it, then no matter what I have to do next day or where I have to go or work or whatever, I will take the time to make a video for you, because you are important to me and you are much more worth in my heart than you know, and every one of you counts. Love you guys. Peace be upon you, and I hope you enjoy the message.
This is Tariq El Masidi. I'm actually the founding director of Celebrate Mercy, and I met you last Friday night. I'm actually sending this message to Sister Shazia to forward to you because I do not have your phone number. But I wanted to ask you a big favor, and that is that we are actually trying to record a few video interviews of people who attended the conference, asking them a few questions about the conference. And I would really love if we could interview you, inshallah, on video. This would only take maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we are planning to do these interviews in the late afternoon or in the evening. So I would really love it if we could interview you as one of the people who attended the conference. Maybe your mom can come as well and be interviewed too, inshallah. Both of you kind of like back to back, not at the same time. But it would really help us a lot because we use these videos to help promote the conference in other cities, and your video might help convince someone that they should attend the conference. And inshallah, if that happens, then it would mean a lot of barakah and reward for you, inshallah. So I hope that you will consider doing it, inshallah, for the sake of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and inshallah, it will help many people attend the conference. Um, and it's more like a conversation. The way that we do these interviews, it's very conversational. It's very easy, and inshallah, Sister Shazia will send you the questions that we will be asking in the video, inshallah. So she will send you more details about the time and the place. And I really hope that you can do this. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.